Hey y'all, it's Megan again here on the Lawson Farm. Hope everybody's doing good. My video this week, I'm going to show y'all how I like to personally cook a whole chicken. And I'm going to show you how you get crispy skin and a good juicy chicken without a rotisserie. Because I don't have a rotisserie, I don't have enough counter space to put one. So I just don't have one, so I rely on my handy dandy oven here. And I'm going to show y'all how to do that today. So I have a lot of people ask me about the whole chickens because as a society we've got so accustomed to having individual cuts like you can buy from the grocery store. I just want wings, I just want breast, so on and so forth. A lot of people don't know the best way to cook a whole chicken, and right now here on the farm that's all we sell. When we sell our pasture-raised chicken is whole chickens. Right now, just financially and for our customers, it doesn't make sense to cut them up just because we would have to hike the price up so much for that. And we want to give our customers the best deal possible. And right now, doing whole chickens is the best way that we can do that. So anyways, without further ado, let's get started. All right, y'all. So the first thing you're going to want to do is set your oven to 450 degrees. I have my chicken sitting on this little rack. See there? That actually comes with my Instant Pot. So if you got a little rack or metal something that you can sit your chicken on down in your pan, that'll make it get even crispier, but if you don't, it's fine. The skin just won't be as crispy wherever it's sitting in the juices at, but it's still just as equally delicious. Alright, so the first thing we're going to want to do after we get our oven set is we're going to want to dry this chicken. Now I just take a paper towel. The reason we're drying the chicken is because that butter that we're going to put on there, which is the next thing I'm going to tell you need, will not stick to this skin and will not crisp up this skin if the skin's wet. So we just want to pat this dry all over. And this right here is about a 6-pound chicken. So, of course, between me and my husband and my kids, we are not going to eat this entire chicken. So, what I'll do is, you can tear it off the bone and stick it in the freezer. You can refreeze it. After it's cooked, you can refreeze. Or you can just put it in the freezer. Not the freezer. The refrigerator. You can put it in the refrigerator after you get done and just eat it again tomorrow for leftovers. Or you can pull it off the bone, make a chicken stew, a chicken pie. Anything like that. I got a real good recipe for chicken noodle soup, chicken pie, and chicken and dumplings. If you want to check those out, I'll try to remember to link them in the video. Alright, so I want to get this underside too. So I'm going to pat all this dry. And when you put it in your pan, you always want the breast side down. But I'm going to dry this off right here. Try to pat it dry where I can get to. Alright, that's good enough. I mean, it ain't got to be like dry. Just, you don't want it soaking wet like it is when you first thaw it out. Alright. Next thing I'm going to need is about a half a stick of softened butter. And whatever seasoning of your choice. If it's a mixture of seasonings, y'all know how I feel about Old Bay. So it will be Old Bay going in that butter right there. Old Bay is one of my favorites. Now, you don't want to be stingy with your seasoning, okay? You want to be able to taste that on your chicken skin. See there? Put a good hefty amount on there. Now we're going to mash that up like this. And just get all that, pick up all that seasoning. Alright, now we're ready. So this part you're going to have to use your hands, okay? If you prefer to use gloves, use gloves. You don't have to, just make sure you wash your hands when you get done. So we're going to get some of our butter mixture and we're just going to rub that on. Going to give our chicken a nice little massage with the butter and the seasoning. And you want to make sure to get it in all the nooks and crannies if you can. to flip him over till just so I can get the other side, and then I'll flip him back. See there, that's still a little damp. That's not wanting to work good for me here. So if you find a spot the butter's not wanting to stick, just dab it some more with paper towel. Now this chicken altogether is probably more than likely going to take about 2 hours to cook, give or take. You do want to have a meat thermometer. If you want the perfect chicken, nothing dry, nothing overcooked, got to have a meat thermometer. I actually use the meter thermometer. It's a Bluetooth thing. Is sweet. It hooks to my phone. So that way I'm not constantly having to go in and check the temperature of my bird. And you want to make sure you put your thermometer in the thickest piece. My dryer is trying to remind me that I need to go fold clothes, so we'll see how that goes. Alright, so now we are ready. I'm going to flip him back over. I'm going to rub this back in where it kind of rubbed off a little bit where I flipped him. Okay. Alright, I'm going to wash my hands and we're going to get him in the oven. Alright, so I'm going to pop him in the oven here. We'll let it cook on 450 degrees for the first 20 minutes. So you want to set your timer for 20 minutes. After that 20 minutes, you take it down to 400 and then you let it finish cooking from there. Alright? So when this bird gets done, I will be back with you. So it'll probably be a couple hours. Just remember, 450 for 20 minutes. Then we're going to decrease it to 400 and go from there. Alright, so my chicken's ready. It actually took it about an hour and a half, so not quite 2 hours. And once your meat thermometer gets to that 165 mark, you're ready to take it out of the oven. And something I like to do is I'll kind of poke around with the thermometer and check and make sure it's 165 all the way through, just to ease my mind because nobody wants to eat raw chicken. So, I'll get it out of the oven. Y'all look at that there. Nice crispy skin. Looks great. And now these pasture-raised birds are much more tender than the birds you get from the grocery store. Alright, so to finish this off, I'm going to move my chicken over to a plate, and I'm going to show y'all how I make chicken gravy from the drippings that came from the chicken. Because what is a good piece of chicken without gravy? I'm going to see if I can get him out here. There we go. I'm going to set that on the plate. See there? Alright, so we're going to set that chicken over to the side. So I've got my little frying pan here. All you need to do is take all your drippings that come from your chicken. We're going to pour that into our frying pan. I like to have all those pieces and everything that come off of it too. We're just going to heat this broth up. And it's got fat and everything in it, so I'm not going to add anything, you know, from that butter that melted off the chicken. You're going to take you just a little bit of flour. And we're going to sprinkle that around and make what they call a roux. And what that is when the flour attaches to the grease. So we're going to do that. And you just want to stir it around. And so if it's still runny, if it's not thickening up, add you a little more flour, okay? And so for your liquid, to make this a true gravy, you can either use chicken broth to make it more like a chicken gravy, or you can use milk. Today I'm going to be using milk. I just like the flavor. Sometimes when I use my homemade chicken broth with the drippings from my chicken that I just made, it's almost a little bit strong, and the milk kind of dilutes that a little bit. So see there, we're getting a nice roux. Could be a little thicker. Now I'm going to let that sit there until that comes to a simmer. Alright, so this is up to a nice little simmer. It's thickening up a little bit. Now I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit of milk. I don't really measure for my gravy. You just kind of have to look at it to see. So I'll just add the milk just a little at a time. I'm going to take this off the heat. Alright, give my milk a good little shake. This is my raw milk that I get from the local dairy. That's why it's in a jar. I'm going to pour a little bit in there. If you got questions about where I get my milk, I'd be happy to share information with you. Just leave it in the comments. I'd be happy to answer if you're anywhere local. Alright, so then I'm just going to stir this till it starts all combining together, getting a little thicker. Alright, I'm going to put it back on a little bit of heat. And if you're wondering what's cooking here, I've got rice to go with all this. So we're going to have chicken gravy and rice. Going to warm up some green beans that I had left over from last night. So I'm going to show y'all. See how thick this is getting? Alright. So I just cut my heat back on like medium. Oh yeah. See there? It's getting pretty thick. You always want to make sure you taste your gravy, and I'll tell you what I've learned. If your gravy tastes like it's missing something, it's usually salt. So add salt till it tastes right. And you just keep adding liquid till your gravy is the consistency you're looking for. And that right there looks good to me. See there? Not too runny, just a little bit, but not too thick. And it'll thicken up as it sits here. But just remember, you do want to simmer after you put it, the flour in, because if not, it's going to keep that floury taste. So we don't want that. All right. Let's see if this chicken's cooled off a little bit. See if I can show y'all kind of how tender this is. Look here. See how easy that just pulls off there? I don't want to pull it all the way off. And look at all those juices pouring out. Looks wonderful. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel if you like this kind of stuff. And give this video a like if you do actually like it. I'm going to put some links in the description to the Facebook page and Instagram if you don't follow me there. And also check out Wedding Inspirations magazine that features yours truly. And I'll talk to y'all next time.